Hey there, I am back with another deck review, and today we're going to be looking at Black Requiem Counterspell from Stockholm 17. Back in 2014, Lorenzo launched his first ever deck on Kickstarter called simply Requiem, and it was a hit, attracting over 750 backers to the tune of $38,000. It was immediately hailed as one of the best decks that year and was the launching point for Stockholm 17. In the 9 years since then, the brand has grown to become one of the most successful anywhere on the back of some of those beautiful decks in the industry. But the playing card collecting world has grown a ton since then, and the original decks can be a bit hard to find. Well, with Black Requiem, we have an all-new version of the deck that not only continues the story, but also highlights some of the original artwork that left the 2014 version so well loved. Now, I was lucky enough to be able to get my hands on the two original, the winter and the autumn versions of the Requiem deck, but still excited to check out the next chapter with Black Requiem, so let's get into it. And stay tuned for the end where I'll showcase the Patreon exclusive version of the deck, which takes things to the next level. Like I've said, this deck builds upon the original. Requiem was a deck inspired by a story of lost love, with aces and court cards highlighting some of the negative thoughts encountered along the way. And Black Requiem is, as the subtitle suggests, the counterspell to those emotions. It makes use of these magic sigils that can be used to focus the will and counteract all those negative vibes. And as we'll see, those sigils really form a fascinating addition to the deck. So let's talk a little bit more about how the sigils are created. And it all starts with the emotion you want to counteract. So in this case, let's say it's Ignavia, cowardice. You would start by selecting the word that symbolizes where you want to be. So we'll use Fortitudo, bravery. Next, you isolate only the consonants, ignoring the vowels, and you remove any duplicates. We're only going to need one of those two T's. And that means you're left with F, R, T, and D. Then you can use versions of those four letters twisted, reflected, and combined to form a single sign that's composed of the letters from your chosen positive emotion. And you're left with a beautiful emblem that can become the source of your focus, and these symbols are used throughout the deck to counteract the negativity of the original. By the way, that animation you just watched, one of the hardest things I've ever done on this channel. Had to learn After Effects just for that, so hopefully you enjoy. But let's get back to talking about the deck, starting with the tuck. And the boxes for Black Requiem come from the masters of the tuck, Bashero and Newton out of Italy. Their work and precision with embossing and foiling is second to none, and you can really see that at play here. It's done on a black matte cardstock with multiple colors of foil. We get the white and the black, and even a full color image here in the center. Beautiful styling that's definitely reminiscent of the original version of the deck, but brings all new life to it all over the place. Really nicely done. You get Black Requiem across the top, and then the main image here is an image that we'll actually see again on the Joker. This is Victima Incauta, the unwary victim. Has a little bit of a steampunk vibe to him, especially those glasses. You can see him there with his hands up. Just a beautiful full color image. If I have one knock though, I will say this full color against the kind of black and white stark colors of the back definitely kind of stands out a little bit too much, not in a great way. I would have liked for it to kind of match the more monotone vibes of the background a little bit more. But small quibble on an otherwise beautiful tuck box. Beautiful detailing in the back, and we can see the first couple of our sigils here in the front. You get acceptance and bravery. That's Fortitudo, the one that we just looked at in the animation, and then Counterspell at the bottom. On the sides, Black Requiem, poker size with some extra little detailing. Other side, True Linen. So these are decks printed by Carta Mundi using their True Linen finish. Bottom has your ad copy for everybody involved in the production. Of course, Stockholm 17 along with Bashero and Newton and Carta Mundi for the cards. And then as you turn to the top, some more little detailing, part of it kind of covered up by the tuck seal. And then a couple of additional symbols here at the top. I believe this is pleasure and love. And then the back here gives you a little bit of a look at the back design of the cards, but done in that black on black color. Beautiful look to it, and then little details that are highlighted with the white here as well. You get the pips in the corner and another little symbol. This is the one for joy down here at the bottom. If you look really closely, you'll see some Latin phrases. Latin's going to play a big part in this one, but over here it says verba volent scripta manent, which means spoken words fly away, written words remain. Great little touch there. And it's all finished out with the red and black seal here. Really nice contrast against the black. Have to imagine this might have been intended to be a postage stamp style seal. You can see the kind of perforations there, almost like it was supposed to fit where the seal was originally, but not with the perforations on this particular seal. but a little slight customization to the shape there. As you open it up, more little details, kind of reminiscent of like a Celtic style almost there. And then 2 more emblems or sigils here on the inside. These are the ones for truth and altruism. And then the interior of the tuck, all done in solid red. It's a nice, beautiful, stark contrasting color against that black and white. I think really, really well done. So beautiful tuck box, but let's check out the cards to see if they hold up. And we'll start with the back design. And here it is. So done beautifully with the gold foils. And I love the color selection on this one. The color of gray is right on the money for me. It's a really great kind of slate gray color, which gives that sort of dark, mysterious vibe to the entire deck. Even has a slight gradient, a little bit lighter here in the center, and then fading out to nice dark in the corners. Just beautiful coloring on this one. The ram's head in the center, done in black and in gold foil, really stands out. The cold foiling that Cardamundi does, just so clean. You turn in the light, you'll even see little splashes of gold on the side, the twisting patterns in the front, and those almost Celtic inspired patterns all the way around the edge. Great look to it, and that gold foil just gives that luxurious touch that really just hits just right. So very nicely done on the back design. Can't say enough about those. And then we turn to the faces, and right off the bat, you'll notice all the faces make use of not just gold, but silver foil as well, including gold borders all the way through that look absolutely brilliant, kind of reminiscent of the House of the Rising Spade decks that used heavily gold foil as well, but really, really nicely done. So we'll start off with the 2 jokers here. First one was a guy that we saw on the tuck box. This is Victima Incauta, the unwary victim. Here, a little bit larger than we saw him on the tuck box. Like I said, definitely has that steampunk vibe. I love that artwork on this one, just kind of a gritty art style that just looks really, really nice. And then the bird perched up there on his head. I swear, when I first saw this, I thought it was a mohawk. It took me a while to realize that it might actually be a literal hawk on his head. The dripping gold at the bottom, and then the Stockholm 17 logo in lieu of Joker in the corners. Second one, another character here. This is Malum Ignavum, the evil coward. So this was also a Joker on the original deck, but brought to life here, this time with some silver foil accents and a beautiful kind of dark twisted look to this one with the red-eyed raven sitting on the head there. Really nice look to the 2 Jokers. I love the art style. Again, that kind of dark twisted art style. You get 2 other extra cards. Bit of a classic extra card for Stockholm 17, the 17 of diamonds, his sort of trademark gaff card there. Beautiful gold pips all the way through, and even the splashes of, almost like splashes of gold paint on there as well. It's that gray black background. Really nice look to that one. And then a bit of a cheat card, and we'll see these sigils going through the entire deck. So each one of the court cards and the aces features one of the sigils, and then this gives you a little bit of a key as to what each one represents. So if you ever need a reference, you can come back to this one to find out more about them. All right, so I mentioned all the aces and the court cards feature sigils and more artwork, and we'll start off by seeing that on the aces themselves, and you'll see what I mean about how the sigils are worked in. The basic artwork on the ace is very, very similar to what was done in the original court. Large spade pip in the center with the owl there in the middle. Just a cool bit of artwork, again in the same style that we saw with the Jokers. You get black Requiem at the top, and then Stockholm 17 playing cards down there at the bottom. And everything done in multiple colors of foil. So we see hits of both gold and silver foil throughout. Nice pip and index in the corner, kind of an interesting font chosen, kind of in that, I don't know, archaic style font there chosen for the index. But whereas the original deck kind of represented negative emotions for each one of these. So the artwork on this one was meant to represent solitudo or solitude. That was the representation of the diamond, or the spade pip here with the owl in the back. Well, now we're going to counteract that with the counterspell. And the counterspell for solitude is going to be company or comatose. So you can see comatose written down here at the bottom, and then the glowing sigil that's been added in the center. This is the one that's made up of the letters from comatose. So if you remember, we'll use the C, M, the T, and the S. And in here you can see the C, there's an M, T kind of form there, and then that curl down the center forms the S. It's a cool addition, and I love how they kind of play off of each other, the sigil and its meaning playing off of the original court card. So there's your Ace of Spades, and we'll go a little bit quicker as we go through this one. So the Ace of Diamonds, this one in the original deck represented Meror or Agony, and so now we have the sigil for peace or Quies here in the center. So really cool, and you can see the bird here almost being tortured, but the peace symbol there in the center kind of counteracting that pain or that agony. Next up is the Ace of Clubs, and this one is Destitutio, abandonment, and then its counterspell is Cura or cure. And then finally the Ace of Hearts with the rat and the heart with the sword thrust through it here. This one was represented by Vexatio or pain, and then of course the counteracting symbol Voluptas represents pleasure. So pleasure and pain is the two counteracting emotions. So there are your 4 aces. Beautiful artwork, and I love the use of the sigils. And then the number cards have been refreshed from the original. So the original one, because it represented all the negative thoughts and emotions, featured these sort of shattered pips. Well, this one has the pips now fully restored, done in brilliant foils. You'll see the black cards here with the silver foils, and then extra little details around, like the splashes, almost like splashes of paint done in silver foil as well. And then the 2s on the 4 pips even include an extra little message. So if you put the 2s together, you get make ash and leave the dust behind. Kind of a cool little addition. And you can see the beauty of these. So the red cards are done in gold pips, black cards done in silver pips. Just really nicely done. I love the looks of these. The glow is so nice, and yet it still maintains an elegance. So somehow, even with all this foil, doesn't feel over the top or cheesy to me. It just really works quite well. As you go through, you'll see extra little bits, little extra symbols that appear. So here's another sigil. Wasn't able to work out what this one is. I think this might be the sigil for Stockholm. I could be wrong on that one though. Some of the pips, the 5s in particular, the center pip is extra large. Nice little extra detail. Not sure what the meaning of that one is. And then the rest of them, fairly normal layouts to them. Nothing too out of the ordinary, but just some dazzling pips with the extra little additions on there. Just really nicely done. So while these are in some ways fairly standard pips, they are far from ordinary. Just really nicely done. Love these number cards. There's a little constellation, the same one that we saw in the front of the tuck box that appears on the 4 hearts. There's your oversized pip on the 5 as we close out the hearts. And then finally, we get to the court cards. Court cards, if you've seen the original deck, feature some of the same artwork that we saw on the original courts, but again, they have the counter spell applied. So we see the original artwork in the back. So for example, here on the Jack of Spades, we're looking at Anxietas, which is anxiety. And then the only addition on this one is that silver glowing counter sigil here in the center. And that sigil in this one represents Serenitas or serenity. So very cool look to it. Still paying homage and giving people a chance to enjoy some of that original artwork, but giving it kind of new life and meaning with the counter sigils. Just a great touch. So as we go through the rest of these, we'll get a chance to see all of the different emotions that are really captured in these beautiful two-way court cards here. So for example, here in the Queen of Spades, we have Komori Causa, egoism. So you can see her there, the very self-centered character. And then of course, that's counteracted with homonym amok or altruism as the symbol there in the middle. And then on to the King of Spades with that proud look on his face. This is spes decepta or delusion. So maybe he doesn't quite deserve that haughty look that he has on his face. Well, delusion is counteracted with satisfaction, being happy with where you are, and that's oblectatio there in the center. So that's what that emblem is for. That's a cool shaped emblem glowing in silver there. Going on to the diamonds, this is one of my favorite court cards. I love that look on his face. This is repudiato or rejection. You can see him there crying with the arrows sticking out of his mouth. But fortunately, counterspell to the rescue, we have acceptio or acceptance there in the middle. Next up, the Queen of Diamonds represents expectatio or expectation, and then that's met with confirmatio or confirmation there in the middle. Another really beautiful one. That one kind of reminds me of like a Cleopatra look to it. And then the King of Diamonds, this is another really strong feeling card. This is Desperatio or Desperation, which is counteracted by Solatium or Solace. So you can see him there almost grieving, has his pet rat there on his shoulder. Interesting touch. Next up, the Jack of Clubs. This is Mysticia or Melancholy. So you can see him there, kind of a melancholic look on his face. And then that's met with Gaudium or Joy as the emblem there in the middle. Queen of Clubs. This is Ignavia, Cowardice. And then the sigil that we saw at the very beginning, this is Fortitudo, Bravery, as the counteracting sigil in the middle. And then the King of Clubs, we have Ira or Rage, which is counterbalanced by Tranquilitas or Tranquility, one of the more complicated symbols that you'll see glowing in silver there. And then we come to the final three, including probably the best card in the whole deck. We'll start off with the Jack of Hearts. This is Medacium, the Lie, which is counteracted by Virum, the Truth. And then probably the most iconic card in this entire deck is Odium or Hate. The beautiful look of the queen here with the dagger with the heart on it, and she's licking the blood off of it. Just a kind of twisted dark card that's just really, really cool. And Odium Hate, of course, the balance for that is Amor or Love. And so we get the symbol for Amor in the middle. And finally, the King of Hearts. This is Culpa or Guile. And then the counterspell to that is Integritas or Integrity. So beautiful set of court cards, great meaning and power to them, just really, really nicely done. These are all printed, by the way, by Cartamundi with their true linden finish. So beautiful handling on these, very, very thin cards. I love Cartamundi's stock and finish, one of my favorites. So no complaints from me on this one. I think they just feel fantastic, and their cold foiling just super clean on these. But I did promise that we were going to get a little peek at the Patreon exclusive version of the deck, and here it is. So this one comes in its own frame, has the uncut tuck in the back, and these were available only to Patreon subscribers. So I've been a patron for a couple of years, no regrets at all. It's always been a great one, and this one featured a really unique, not just deck, but also the display. So of course you see that all black display, and the carrot case on this. So these were made by Carrot Case Creations. So it's designed to fit just the plate of a carrot case here. And you can see this particular one has a cutout, and we'll see why in just a second. So once you pull that off, you can get to the deck. This one is heavy, and that's because you can see the metal here in the center. So my one knock on the original tuck box was that some of that full color there almost looked artificial. Well, the Patreon edition fixes that entirely. So it replaces the front with cutouts that actually have a metal plate on the inside. So you can see the black Requiem plate here in the middle. And I'll pull that out in a second so you can see it alone, but the tuck box is designed to actually feature that plate really, really nicely. And the color scheme, fantastic on this one. But it means the entire tuck is incredibly heavy. They are signed on the back by Lorenzo, as well as numbered. So I got number 343, and even feature little cutouts here so you can see the gilding inside. So that's the tuck box from the outside. Has a changed up tuck seal here. This one done kind of a diamond shape, or not a tuck seal rather, just a top here, no tuck seal on this one. And then as you open up with that little triangular shape cutout, some slight little extra design touches on this one. But as you pull the cards out, you'll see that these are also gilded cards. So just giving you that extra little bit of luxury with some nice gold gilding. The cards, otherwise, the same as what we looked at before, all the same artwork, but of course you get that metal plate inside as well. So if you pull that out really carefully, here it is. So nice heavy metal card or metal plate here that's designed to work with that tuck box. Really cool look to it. Features the unwary victim there in the center. Really nice look to it. And on the back, some extra little details carved in all the way through. Just a really over-the-top, super nice addition to the line, and designed to fit perfectly as you slide that back in, and fits right into the cutouts. And that is the look at Black Requiem. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. It is a phenomenal deck, and if you get the chance to pick these up, I can't recommend it highly enough. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe for more deck reviews, more unboxings. Let me know what else you want to see, and I'll see you for the next one.